Welcome to Do You Ever Wonder? With your host, Mike Altman. It's the podcast that will answer your questions about many of the things in life we've always wanted to know more about. Our guests, experts in their chosen field, will enlighten us about subjects ranging from real estate, business, career, science, philanthropy, and much more. Proudly presented by Hallmark Abstract Service, it is once again time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride on our information superhighway. And now, here's Mike Altman.
Welcome, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here for another episode of Do You Ever Wonder? My name is Mike Altman. I am the CEO of Hallmark Abstract Service, but more importantly, I'm the host of Do You Ever Wonder? It's a podcast that was developed to really bring information to people that they wonder about, but they don't always have the right resource to learn more about in actuality. So today our topic, and actually next week as well, is going to be networking. So what is networking? It's something that some of us do, some of us don't do. A lot of people don't like doing it, and there's a lot of different formats for it. And today's episode is going to be about an extremely unique type of format, one that I became involved with, I guess, about 2 months ago. And our guest created a, most of us know about BNI and IBO and all these different networking groups where the purpose is really do business. And today's guest had an idea for a networking, I don't know if I would actually call it networking, a relationship building format. And it's very unique and really grabbed my attention and my interest. And with all that said, meet, please, Adam Holtzer.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mike. And it's an honor to be on your podcast. I'm very happy to be here.
The honor is all mine, my friend.
It's funny, we actually call whoggga an alternative to networking, and we brand it as a social network for business owners and entrepreneurs. Before we came up with that tagline, we were originally a business lifestyle community that focused more on the lifestyle, hobbies, interests, passions, what make us who we are as a person versus focusing strictly on the traditional nature of networking, which is transactional, referral-based, lead-based. My partner and I figured that if we put the spin on it of relationships before business, that our members, all being entrepreneurs, all having like-mindedness, the culture of whoggga and interactions, kind of unconventional opportunity. You never know what value you get out of it.
Well, how did you're involved in other things, so why don't we start with that? What's your other company?
So I have a separate business that's a consulting firm that specializes in fractional business development. So we help business owners that are entrepreneurs that don't have a business development arm, and we help them make connections and open up doors into new opportunities, new relationships. And then we really focus on nurturing those relationships to really blossom into something special, not just, once again, a transactional nature. I've always been very passionate about getting to know who people are as human beings, what their passions are, their hobbies, their interests. And the business owners that I represent for my consulting firm, they're business owners that don't have a business development team. They are usually a small business owner that doesn't have anyone out there representing their brand or helping them put their name and opening up doors for them. So I started up that company as a need for small businesses to help connect better and build more efficient relationships that are built on a stronger foundation versus just the transaction.
So you're focused, obviously, you're focused on relationships, you're focused on helping people, and obviously not transactionally oriented, which is fantastic because we live our lives, especially around here, transaction to transaction. So I think that creating an environment where people are actually getting together, meeting each other, knowing each other, I've always said that the know, like, trust is kind of a typical process, but it has a lot of value, and I think it's a lot of what you're doing is really, people, you like them, and then after you form a trusting relationship, then business can happen if it does happen, but it's not the basic premise of what you do. So the name, explain the name.
Sure. So going back to whoggga, whoggga is a Scandinavian lifestyle culture that's been around for a couple hundred years. They practice the culture of whoggga in countries like Denmark, Finland, Norway. And the culture of whoggga is defined as being comfortable, being cozy, being yourself, not playing charades, being who you are. And my partner Greg and I, when we learned about the culture of whoggga overseas, we said, wow, business needs more whoggga in it. People need to be more comfortable. They need to be more friendly. They need to be themselves. They, skip the charades, be who you are. And the term whoggga is really spelled Hyggge. And it's a hard word to pronounce if you read it, but let alone to pronounce it. Whoggga is a tough word. So not a lot of people know how to spell that version, let alone pronounce our version, which is whoggga, same way. And we spell whoggga this way, who, W-H-O, because we genuinely care who you are as a person, what makes you you, your hobbies, your interests, your passions, your family, your vision, what makes you happy, who are you? I'm sure you've been to many networking occasions where as soon as somebody walks up to you, the first thing they say to you is, what do you do? And that is one of my least favorite questions to be asked. And it's not because I don't love what I do. It's that you're going to ask me what I do. And odds are, based off of what I said, is going to actually steer the conversation in a route that's probably going to be transactional versus get to know me, get to know that I have 2 kids under 4, get to know that my wife and I love just going in the backyard and pushing our kids on the swings. Get to know that bonfires are my favorite way to just bring people together because the warmth, the smell, the feeling of a bonfire, the energy you get just lights people up. No pun intended on lighting people up. But that's the who in whoggga. And then the 3 G's, I obviously see it on my shirt, stands for our 3 membership subscriptions, which are grind, grow, and gratify. My partner Greg and I find that every business professional is in a different stage of their career. Some people are grinding to try to make it. They're trying to earn it. They're trying to just literally make it in that stage of their career in their business. Other professionals are in the growing stage of their career. We call them a G2. So someone that's a G1 is in the grind phase. Someone that's a G2 is in the grow phase. And they're mastering their craft. They're still grinding. They're still hustling, but they're in a different stage. The foundation of their business is a little bit more set up. Maybe their life is a little bit more set up. And a G2 is looking to grow that phase of their business in their life. And then the 3rd G power is called gratify, which is a G3. And we have members in whoggga that are G3s. And these are people that have reached a stage of their career, professionally, personally, their experience where they want to make a difference. They're in a position where they can give back a little bit more. And giving back isn't just about making donations or writing checks. Giving back to whoggga is, whatever it means to gratify and make a difference for you. So that could be mentoring, that could be opening up, a G1 that doesn't have these connections, these relationships, but they're so good at what they do. And instead of them taking 10 to 15 years to build these relationships that they might never even find, someone that's a G2 or G3 might make an introduction that's unconventional, but you never know how that opens up opportunity for both parties. So that's the name of whoggga. That's why we spell it this way. And that's why we actually have a rhyme and a reason behind the marketing behind the term whoggga.
No question. And one thing I knew when we said that we would do this talk is that I knew I wouldn't have to talk all that much, but you have an infectious enthusiasm for what it is that you do. And we spoke long before we met at that networking event where I had a cane and you were on a
I was on a scooter.
You were on a scooter for your ankle. But what you do is definitely different than what I've always done. In terms of my networking. I mean, I still do conventional networking, but when Linda, my wife, and I spoke with you, what it is that you do in this group is definitely refreshing, and I think ultimately will be as or more successful than the traditional business card. Networking, walk into a room with, 100 people who are on the defensive and really are there for one specific reason, which is not necessarily for you, but for them to grow their business. So, the first event I went to of yours was at Topgolf, and I was there as a guest, but what struck me was the genuine liking that people in the organization seem to have for each other. And, I have that in some groups where we have a good core group of people who actually like each other, but it's not typical. And I think that's one of your driving desires is to create an environment where people can actually learn to create relationships of like.
Thank you for saying that, Mike. I will tell you, not a lot of people know this, but my partner Greg and I, before launching whoggga or even having the name whoggga, back in January of 2020, we held 8 different focus groups. So Monday to Thursday, 2 weeks back to back, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. We held these focus groups back in January of 2020, where we invited majority entrepreneurs. Each focus group, each of the 8 sessions had about 15 to 22 people that came. No one repeated and came to a second one, but we invited almost 150, 200 people over the course of these 8 days. And we basically held a think tank. And we said to them, the reason that you're all here is to collaborate. We want to understand the good, the bad, the ugly, the magnificent, what you wish there was more of, what you wish there was less of, what you wish was the same or different. And literally for 2 hours in these think tanks, all 15 to 22 business owners, entrepreneurs opened up about what they really wanted. Women professionals shared that traditional networking times don't work for them. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., a lot of women professionals are helping out, taking care of the kids and responsibilities, that they can't attend something at 7 a.m. And like when I heard that, like part of me broke because I'm like, wow, I'm like, if all they have is something from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and they can't attend that, then what? They don't get to network or market themselves. And we had professionals that were in the real estate industry that shared. Everyone assumed that somebody that's a mortgage broker, everyone assumed that their best referral source was realtors. And the feedback they gave to us was, no, we just want to be around good people that know who we are, that understand the work and the quality and the passion that we have to help homeowners that are obtaining a loan. So a lot of the feedback that we got from these focus groups were to help us understand what people really wanted versus what already existed. And when you just put good, like-minded, good-hearted people together that understand the culture that we're practicing, magic happens. Once again, the term I'll use is unconventional opportunity. whoggga is not the right fit for everybody, and we know that, and we're not blind to that. whoggga is a good fit for people that are looking for something different, business owners and entrepreneurs that genuinely care about making the connection. If you're expecting a lead in the first day or first month or first 6 months of being in an organization and you're solely there for leads and referrals, the horse blinders are going to be blocking out all the other good stuff that you can have, like our experiences, like our camaraderie, bringing whogggis together, bringing the families together, the spouses together, really getting to know who we are and having fun and building relationships authentically rather than being forced. One of the first huddles that you came to was the huddle, the concert that we went to at the Paramount.
Right.
And you and Linda came there. You guys looked awesome. You came, we met at a bar beforehand for everyone to kind of eat and drink a little bit and then go over to the Paramount in Huntington. But you were there, arms wide open on a Friday night to just have a great time and just to be around good people and shake new hands and get to know fellow whoggies. And you wore your whoggga wristband. And like when you just create that environment that brings good people together, the opportunities are endless. It could be personal, it could be professional, it could be social. It could be someone who's 35 years old talking to someone who's 55 years old that, I'm going through these things with my kids now. I have 2 kids under the age of 5. And this 55-year-old can be like, you know what, Adam, I've been there. I know what it's like to start up a business. I know what it's like to have all these moving parts when you're trying to focus on family and fun, but you're still grinding to make it. And having those conversations with someone, you don't find that just anywhere. And that's been a lot of value for me personally, has been helping me grow as a father, a husband, a business owner.
Well, I think what people show or are willing to show in your group that necessarily they're not in all other groups, not right word is probably not vulnerability, but people are willing to show their, I guess it is vulnerability. People are willing to show the nicks and cuts that they have. They're willing to not, when you go to a networking event, you have to be on and you have to be like the alpha male or female. But, in your events, not necessarily. You can just be yourself, and it's it's not typical to be in an environment where you can just be yourself unless you're with good friends. So, that's a very refreshing situation. I think ultimately business may result. I don't think anyone's doesn't have in the back of their mind that you're doing this on some level for business development, but you're not approaching it in the typical business development way, which is definitely, I mean, for me, I'm 50, yeah, you know what, I'm 55. Let's say that, but it's different. You know, definitely different.
One of the things that I learned from, I've worked with multiple coaches and people that have just shared so much insight that has made me better to allow me to make others better. But something that I learned was when you have a conversation with somebody, there's already this imaginary like brick wall already partially built up. How that conversation goes can either build up more bricks and now you're not getting through to each other, or it helps take the bricks down where you're now creating a comfortable environment, a whoggga-like environment where you can have a conversation and really get to know who that person is. I had a call. I had a meeting this past Friday in my backyard. I love to do meetings in my backyard. It makes me happy to invite people here. Sometimes my kids are around. It's just good energy. And the meeting I had was with a young woman professional, and we had no agenda. And as soon as she got to my house and we were talking a little bit, I said to her, I was like, is everything okay? And she said something. She confided in me. I'm not going to share it here now. But she confided in me an hour and a half conversation and meeting together was so personal. And you want to talk about really getting to know somebody and having a conversation and building an authentic relationship. I'm so happy that the conversation went that way because there was much more value from that conversation than for us trying to pitch each other for a half an hour and then saying what the follow-up steps are and who we can connect each other to and who we can do this and that with. Like, that stuff's great. But she needed to have that conversation, and I was so happy to be there to have that conversation with her. And I'm sure, Mike, you've experienced it. I mean, you have so many people that respect you, that look up to you, that work with you, and they choose to work with you because of who you are. But if you come into the conversation with a full cup, you never know what room is left inside.
It's true. No, but well, that's the way you approach things. I mean, some people are approachable, other people are not approachable. You're definitely approachable, which is great. I mean, that's kind of what makes the organization what it is. So, and you kind of are specific in terms of the people you invite people in. It's not like a BNI where if your check doesn't bounce, you're a member, and there's no one in the group who does what you do. So you are somewhat specific about the types of people that you want to invite in to, I guess, I don't know, you'd call it an inner sanctum, but, it's your creation.
So we are an exclusive social network for business owners and aspiring business owners. We respectfully do not invite in sales reps. We do not invite in multi-level marketing. We do not invite in captive agents. Everyone is a true fiduciary and or client advocate. Nobody is a product advocate just pushing a product. And we respectfully have to decline a good portion of people that do request to join. I would say that probably maybe 2 out of every 10 people that request to join would be a good candidate. And because we're building whoggga based on culture, not based on someone's job title or success or their gravitas, we're choosing the people that we invite in based on their credibility as a professional, but more importantly, their credibility as a person, someone that shows up, someone that is accountable, someone that is a good human being, has a good heart. And the way that we get to know people like that is literally by getting to know them.
So how do you vet someone initially? Do people need to be recommended by somebody?
Yeah, so in whoggga, there's only one way to be invited in, and we call that an invitation of credibility. So, Mike, you received an invitation of credibility to join whoggga. We also have something called a recommendation of credibility, where somebody will recommend someone that they know, like, trust, and respect, that they've already done business with, they've had a relationship with, and if they want to recommend that person, we do hold that to a high regard. However, our vetting process, we actually have something called progressive exclusivity. So we just recently invited in a member, and we already have a member that does that profession. But progressive exclusivity is, I'm not a photographer, I'm not a video person. Who better than an existing member that's been doing photography and video for 20 plus years to vet somebody that wants to come into the organization? And in whoggga, we really do have an abundant mindset versus a scarcity mindset. Since we're not being driven by leads and referrals, it's more so about the collaboration and getting to know the person. So one of our members today, actually, literally today, had a call with a new whogggy that you're going to get to meet, because we get to invite them in now because they're going to receive an invitation of credibility. But this member was able to have a long conversation with them to get to know who they were as a person, their background, their passion behind what they do. They're actually an accounting professional that is trying to build up, they're an aspiring business owner and entrepreneur. They're trying to build up their photography and video practice because they love that so much, and they've been so stuck as an accountant for so long that yes, they have this career path, but they're aspiring to this career path. And the member of whoggga that had this conversation with them today, they can mentor them, they can inspire them. This person's just starting out in their business, so someone that has 20 plus years of experience in this world can really help that person. So that's progressive exclusivity. If that person were to say, yeah, I want to join whoggga for the leads, for the referrals, I hear you guys do stuff in person, I'm tired of doing stuff behind Zoom, I want to get in front of people to pitch them, our member who understands the culture of whoggga would respectfully say to that person, whoggga's probably not the right fit for you, because we call it commission breath. People are going to smell your commission breath right away, that all you're trying to do is sell them or pitch them, or you're not going to fit into the culture. And what you find is, especially in like a group of friends, you find that if someone doesn't fit in or someone doesn't grasp the culture, they usually kind of weed themselves out. And we don't want that to happen. That's why our vetting process is so, the way that we have it. We genuinely want to make sure that we're inviting someone in and giving them a chance, but it's almost like a stack deck.
Let me ask you this. How many members total are there?
So we just surpassed 50 at our 11th month mark.
Now, in the 11 months, have you made any decisions to invite people to join that you later regretted? And you don't have
That's a very challenging question to answer. I wouldn't say that it was a regret on my side. I would just say that if we invited anybody in, that maybe the culture wasn't what they thought it would be, maybe the time management of the different huddles that we have didn't work in their schedule. People are so used to traditional networking that, the loyalty is only there based on leads and referrals and commissions. If people aren't getting opportunities, they're going to leave the group. Do you really want people like that around you? Do you want to build a relationship with a friend and then they leave 3 months later because they got nothing from the group, and now you potentially lose touch with them? So respectfully, our retention rate has been over 97% in the 11 months. And for the very few people that have respectfully had to leave whoggga, it wasn't necessarily because they weren't having a good experience. One person got a job offer that was just a phenomenal job offer. They left us one of our first 5-star Google reviews because they were having a great experience in whoggga. It just wasn't for them. They were looking to go away from being an entrepreneur to being an employee. That was what they wanted in their life. We had another member, a young professional. He was one of our first whoggies to join. He broke his leg like 2 months into his subscription. He wasn't going to be able to drive anywhere. He actually changed career paths because his other career path wouldn't allow him to do it with a broken leg, as messed up as that sounds. But to answer your question, we're a month-to-month subscription. None of our members are locked into a 1-year agreement or a 6-month agreement. It's month-to-month. And the reason that we do that isn't because people are going to come and go every month. We wouldn't invite them in if that was the case. If someone's not having a good experience, if someone's not vibing with the other members of whoggga, the fellow whoggies, if someone's not enjoying the experiences, or if they're not getting the value out of it that they want to get, we don't want them to be locked into a long-term agreement where they almost feel like hostage, and then they could potentially spread bad vibes through our organization. Also, that being said, it's month to month that if we find that somebody's not a good fit, maybe we did make a mistake. I don't know if the word mistake is the right word to use there, but maybe if something kind of jumped out, that something didn't jump out, but that jumps out after they remember, we can respectfully say to them, like, hey, Mike, it's been a pleasure having you, but I'm sure you can understand that there's been a difference of this or that, or whatever the case is. Right. We're going to respectfully ask that you do not renew next month your subscription.
Well, one of the words that permeates how you describe the group is respectfully, and I think respectfully is a great word. It doesn't always manifest in a lot of environments. So, respectfully is a great way to be. So now you're at 50. What's your end game?
It's a really fun question that we get asked quite a bit. We don't know how many people are whoggga. We don't know how many whoggies there are. Right now, we're Long Island based. We've had over 25 other states reach out to us that are interested in whoggga, that requested to join. I would say our next milestone is to hit 100 members. We know we have a proof of concept here. We get a lot of interest. We do get a lot of requests to join. We get a lot of people that they're not happy with the networking that they've experienced for 10, 20, 30 years. They want something a little bit different. They want to try something new. We don't tell our members not to be part of other organizations. We encourage our members to be part of whatever it's going to be to help them grow. But I will tell you, from a growth perspective of whoggga, our vision, we're going to hit 100 members, and we've already had some really cool stuff in the works that I can't share right now, but there's a lot more to go on with whoggga well after 100 members.
You're only just starting. So you're
We're
almost
only
a
just
year old, just starting. You have high expectations, and you guys want to reach for the stars, which is great. And I think,
Mike,
oh, go
sorry.
ahead. No, go.
This has been my partner Greg knows this. I say this to him. He doesn't like always hearing it, but my partner Greg, he kind of like saved my life. And the reason I say that is I've always been whoggga. A lot of us, even yourself, like we've been whoggga our whole life. We just didn't know what the word was or how to describe it. And Greg saw this talent in me to help connect people and care about people and business development and just bring people together. And Greg helped me build this stage. We built this stage together to help business professionals like you and me to find an alternative to something that wasn't working for them. So what I would say to you is this: it's all unconventional. This is a passion project that turned into a revenue generating business that is a real thing, that has swag. Look, I had a koozie here ready to go. I got my bracelet on. Like, we just launched our swag store where our members and even non-members are buying like our clothing product. Like, I never expected that. Like, it was part of the plan. It's exciting to see. I shouldn't say I never expected it, but so what I'm getting at is this. This is driven solely through passion. Like, this energy that you're feeling just through a Zoom right now.
You can't fake. You can't fake you.
So Greg and I are working very hard for the future of whoggga. We just hired our 8th team member. You're going to meet them tomorrow night at the huddle that we have. We just hired a new experience planner. We just hired and brought on a whogggy concierge. We're building this business to add value, and the value that we've been getting feedback on, we just want to make that better, and we just want to enhance our members' lives to have a great experience, to help them, like I said before, personally, professionally, and socially.
Well, as a cynical New Yorker who doesn't always find the best in people, I can honestly say that you guys definitely do look to bring as much to the experience as you possibly can. And I, as a relatively new member of the group, and this actually wasn't meant as an advertisement. This is meant because it's another alternative way of networking in a world where people typically do it a certain way. And my experience has been great so far, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
If somebody, go ahead.
And your experience, you might be having a great experience, Mike, but what you also might not realize is the value that you're adding to others by talking about life and experience and your background and your marriage and your children and what you bring to the table. Like, it's almost selfish of us to invite someone like you into whoggga because of the value that you bring to our other members. You make our organization stronger. You add value to each one of our members. So it's not just what we're adding, it's what each individual whogggy is adding to our organization to elevate it. And
absolutely.
I mean, in a short period of time, like, you're like a celebrity in whoggga. You've literally done a great job getting to know people. You're going out for lunch with people. You're getting like you're having fun, and like, that should be business. Like, why can't you have fun and do business?
100%. So let me ask you something. If somebody sees this and says, that sounds like something I would like to get involved with, how do
Yeah.
how do they reach you?
They would go onto our website, which is whoggga, WHOGGGA, triple G, .com. And I would first ask that, as much as we love referrals and we want people to join, I want someone to first read our Google reviews, read our website, understand our culture, because we might not be the right fit for everyone. But if you think that we're a good fit for you, on our website, on the top right, it says request to join. You can request to join our organization. That leads to something called an interview of credibility, where either myself, my partner, or one of our team members have an initial interview to start the process. But that would be it, Mike. Either reach out on the website, whoggga.com, or I'm a very friendly person, as you can tell. Please friend me on LinkedIn, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation and see if whoggga is a good fit for you.
And if somebody wanted your swag, how do they do that?
whoggga.com/shop.
Okay.
And we keep our prices extremely low, because if somebody's willing to wear our brand and put it out there, then we want to make that as affordable as possible for them.
Beautiful. All right. Well, listen, thank you for joining. It was a pleasure speaking, and I look forward to speaking a lot more in the future.
Thank you, Mike, and I appreciate you, and thank you for having me as your guest. Keep up all the great work. I truly enjoy your podcast.
Well, thank you. And
Thanks for listening to Do You Ever Wonder?
See you soon.
And if there's a subject that's always been on your mind, let us know. We hope you'll join us next time for the show that answers your questions. And please like and share this episode with your friends and on your social media. See you next time.